Well, some of the most volatile periods in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict have centered around a man-made hill in occupied East Jerusalem's Old City. Muslims call it the Haram al-Sharif, or the Noble Sanctuary, because it contains two of Islam's most holy places, the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock. Jews call the hill the Temple Mount and revere the area at its base known as the Western Wall. Now, with so many important religious sites in a small space, the situation around the hill is often tense. Any change to the status quo or a threat to one of the holy sites can very quickly lead to trouble. Well, let's speak to Rami Khouri. He's the Director of Global Engagement at the American University of Beirut and also a Senior Fellow at the Harvard Kennedy School. He joins us now from Boston. Rami, the last time we spoke, we were talking about how there were still these unresolved issues, potential flashpoints for conflict despite the ceasefire. Al-Aqsa is an obvious one, especially around Friday prayers every week. How do you see this playing out in the coming days and weeks?
Al-Aqsa has always played a central role in the life of the people of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem has played a central role in the life of the people of Palestine and all Arabs and Muslims. So it's really the epicenter of many aspects of people's identities, allegiances, hopes, sense of justice, aspirations for the future, however you want to call it. But there are practical reasons now that have accumulated one on top of the other that have made it a place where thousands, tens of thousands sometimes, of Palestinians congregate to show their determination to protect their sites, their holy sites in Jerusalem. But it's more than just the religious dimension. This was the first direction of prayer for the Prophet Muhammad before it was changed. And he came here on a nocturnal nighttime visit to heaven, according to the Islamic holy books and traditions. So it has strong religious traditions, but Jerusalem is an orphaned demographic unit of Palestinians. The local leadership has been decimated by the Israelis, most of them put in jail, some killed, some exiled. The national political leadership of the Palestinians, the PLO and the authority, are pretty moribund. They have very little credibility. They're doing very little. Therefore, the people of Jerusalem have nobody really to lead them, while at the same time there's been a rise of groups of Israeli extremists going through the streets saying, kill the Arabs, people coming to the Haram al-Sharif, the Temple Mount, the Aqsa area, and then they're not coming as tourists. You use the word tourists. These are not tourists. These are political, sort of hit squads. They're coming. They've declared, the extremists have declared their intention to try to get the Arabs out of there so they can rebuild the third temple. Now, of course, the answer to all this is a negotiated settlement, but there's no sign of that right now. All we see are these tensions on both sides, and the Israeli police going with these extremist, militant Jewish settlers onto the holy site is a pretty bad sign. But it's not new. It's been like this for many years, and every time something happens on the Aqsa, on the Haram al-Sharif, Temple Mount, tens of thousands of Palestinians congregate there because it is the only center of political identity and congregation and unity that they now have in Jerusalem. That's why the Israelis should acknowledge this and negotiate with them for a new status quo that gives everybody their national rights and access to all their holy places. But unfortunately, that's a way down the road.
Well, Rami, speaking of the status quo, amid all of these tensions, Jordan, right, is supposed to be managing the site, but that arrangement is a fairly delicate one. And as you say, we've seen these large, potentially growing deployments of Israeli security forces around the site. Is there a need now, do you think, for a new arrangement or the possibility of creating a new arrangement around the management of access to the site?
That's probably not going to happen. No, the arrangement, the understanding on the holy sites has been there since after 1967. It's built into the peace treaties that Jordan has with Israel. It's internationally recognized. It just has to be enforced. These Zionist young thugs have to be told they can't just go up there and parade saying that they want to turn this into the third temple. I hope one day they have a third temple, but it cannot be on holy land that is built and protected and revered by Muslims and many Christians as well, in a nationalist way. And all this is going on, by the way, while Israelis continue to build settlements, confiscate land, and ethnically cleanse Sheikh Jarrah, Silwan, which is right next door. So it's that combination of all these things that makes the Aqsa so special. But it should be a reminder to everybody that there is no solution in fighting. There's no solution in colonization. The only solution can come through a negotiation, and the only negotiation that can work is one that acknowledges the rights of both sides to live in peace and security with access to their holy places. The Jordanians try as much as they can to maintain the status quo on the Haram al-Sharif, but the Jordan is weak. It's not a major player anymore, and they need help from other countries. And this is really an international pan-Arab, pan-Islamic responsibility.
Well, we'll be watching those diplomatic efforts in the coming days and weeks very closely. Indeed, Rami Khouri there from the American University of Beirut. Always great to get your thoughts here on Al Jazeera. Thanks for being with us again, Rami.
You bet.